Hello, everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. So, before we dive into today's episode, which is talking all things Real Housewives of Potomac, what is going on with this season, why I think it's a bit of a flop, and yeah, we'll get into it. But before we dive in, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share. So, with that, let's start talking about the girls and this week's episode. Why I think it's a bit of a bore, a bit of a flop, but why I think it will be redeemed going forward. So, first, let's talk about Karen. So, we all know the drama around Karen is her DUI, alleged cheating, and does she or doesn't she have an alcohol problem? Should she go to rehab? Now, I am not a doctor, I don't diagnose, but I do think that if you are getting multiple citations for driving under the influence, particularly alcohol, maybe you want to look at that. Maybe you want to talk to someone. Maybe you want to get some help. Now, there's been a lot of comparisons between how Karen Huger has been treated on the show versus Shannon Bedore, who also got a DUI, has been treated on the OC. Both women allegedly, I'll just say alleged for all of the intents and purposes, were driving while drunk or driving after drinking. And the way that they have been received on both of their shows have been similar, but also vastly different. And I'm going to break down why I think that is. Number one, Shannon on the OC, she's past the hump, if you know what I mean. She's past the hump. She already got her sentence, she already got her community service. She's not going to go to jail. So Shannon is over the legal hump of what happened to her. Karen is going through it. She has yet to have her day in court. She has yet to be sentenced or knowing what her fate will be. So the level of accountability that these two women can take have to be different because the stakes are different, especially with Karen. I don't know if that was Shannon's first offense. I think it was with a particular with like a DUI type situation, but it doesn't seem like it was Karen's. So the stakes are different. One is jail time, So the way that these two women can show up is different. Once something is behind you, you can take accountability all day long. But when you still have to go to court, you have to, like Karen said, I can't talk about it. I can't do anything about it. So this whole thing with Mia making her entire personality, her entire storyline, every single scene about coming after Karen for this DUI, to me, it's whack, it's tired, it's played out, and I'm over it. Like, I'm personally done talking about Karen's DUI. Like, I get it. What she did was wrong. Yes, she should be held accountable. Do I want her to go to jail? No, I don't. Do I want her to get help? I do. So I'm sick and tired of Mia keep going after Karen every single scene, and then also getting her little minions to get in on it as well. Like Jacqueline's going after her. Her friend came in with this 3-year-old tea talking about, oh, Karen butt dialed us and she was drunk and she was going to see somebody that wasn't right. Who cares? Number one, this was 3 years ago when it was clear Karen and Ray were going through it. Who knows what Ray was doing? I don't really care if Karen's dipping it and doing it. I think she should bust it open for whoever she wants. I think her and Ray probably have an understanding. So the whole thing about trying to out Karen as some cheater, that's also tired and whack and boring as hell. And also, it's not going to sway anybody's opinion of Karen. If you like Karen, you're going to like her even if she's drinking, even if she is cheating. It's not going to actually change our minds. If you like Karen, you like Karen. This is nothing new. So Mia keep going after Karen. It's tired. It's giving Tamra going after Shannon in the OC, where it's like your entire personality is badgering a woman for making a mistake, which is a regrettable mistake, while your actual personality is mean, nasty, evil, and rude. And you don't want to share what's really going on in your life. You just want to dodge the bullet. You want to deflect. You want to talk about everybody else, but you don't want to really be honest about what's going on in your life, because I don't think Mia's actually being honest about what's going on in her life. I think she likes to throw Gordon under the bus. I think she likes to glorify ink, but I think a lot of what she says is lies and BS. She has her little minions doing her work, her little Jazzy, her little Jacquelines, her little flying monkeys, who are now catching the strays that are meant for her. Like, number one, Karen would never come for Jacqueline and her PP, her, what was his name? Patrick or David, whatever the hell his name was. The children, her father, her children's father, who Mia said, basically hurt her and played her, and she was just dumb enough to keep trying to save him. And Karen, when she was like, yeah, like Patrick talks to you, I was like, oh my gosh, Karen, you're a queen. One-liners, amazing. Because Patrick doesn't really talk to her like that. They're really not together. But Karen never would have brought up his, charges. And to me, again, I'm going to say alleged, it seems like he was a dirty cop who got caught and got fired. But unfortunately, like a lot of dirty people, whether it's politics or law enforcement or legal, whatever, they just get moved to a different department. It sounded like, because Jacqueline was like, well, it was nothing in the public and blah, 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 blah. So it just sounds to me, again, this is my opinion, this is alleged, I don't know for a fact, reading between the lines, it sounds like he was a corrupt, dirty cop who got caught, got fired from his department, and they sort of just shifted him to a different department. That's what it sounded like. To me, at least. Yeah. Anyway, Karen never would have brought that to the show if you weren't going at her so hard on behalf of your girlfriend, Mia. And I say girlfriend in every way of the term because they clearly have sex, they clearly smash. They are bosom buddies, and that's no tea, no shade. This is what they do themselves. They have showered together. They've talked about having threesomes together. They share rooms together. So this is no shade to that. I'm just saying, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck and it tells you it's a duck, quack, quack. Okay? So Jacqueline, trying to prove her loyalty to messy Mia, going after Karen because Mia's mad at her, is now catching all the strays that should actually be going to Mia. Right? So I'm feeling like this season, for me personally, it's flopping because it's the messy Mia season of just going after Karen. And that story is way tired and it's way whack. I'm over it. Now, when it comes to the other ladies, Stacy, I think Stacy is going to shine. I predict, I think that the seasons will shift. I think if they can get off of Karen and Karen's DUI and shift to a different narrative, different drama, I think the season can be redeemed. The girls need to start having fun. Wendy's birthday was not it. It was tired. It was boring. It was flat. Again, I think Wendy is boring to me. She's always been a cornball to me. I like her as a person. As a person, I mean, like, I obviously don't know her personally. But as a person, I mean, like, I don't have anything against her. I just think she's boring as a personality on TV, on a reality show. That's what I mean. I think she has a cute little family with her and Eddie. And, like, that's it. I don't think she's that funny. I don't know. She's just not it for me. I thought her birthday was very flat, very boring, and they weren't really even there to really celebrate Wendy. I feel like everybody's tiptoeing around her because of all the NECA drama that happened last season with like the voodoo and the witchcraft and the mama and the Mias and all that stuff. So I think that everyone's sort of tiptoeing around Wendy because of all of that stuff. They don't want to like rock the boat. And then with Robin being fired, NECA being fired, Candace taking a break or pause, whatever the case may be, I feel like everyone's sort of like on their P's and Q's and on their best behavior, which makes the season flat and boring because it's just let's talk about Karen's DUI 25,000 times and we are all over it, done, let it go. Another thing I want to say about the Karen DUI with like the Mia and the Tamra and the Shannon and the Karen similarities is not just the fact that Karen is still in it. She doesn't know what's going to happen to her versus Shannon, who can go in and be accountable because she's already gotten her punishment, right? Another big difference is that I think Mia is a lot like Tamara. However, Tamara on the OC is being a terror to everyone. Like she's going after Jen, she's throwing Gina under the bus with her allegations of throwing Travis down the stairs. Like she's just going after everybody in such an unequivocal, evil way where the entire group is like, you are being completely awful and unhinged to everyone. This is really crazy. Whereas Mia has laser focused her evilness onto Karen. So I think it hits a little bit different when she's just laser focused on Karen and she feels like she has a silver bullet because of the DUI, that like she can't be touched. I'm personally really happy that Stacy isn't taking the bait and isn't turning on Karen. I think that Stacy is going to really come into her own this season, really stick it to the girls, have that, elite shade with like how she moves because she's shady in confessionals, but she never gets out of pocket, she never gets out of character. I think that Stacy is really going to come into her own and really shine this season. Now, I think that when it comes to the other girls like Ashley, I think Ashley probably should have taken a pause this season. I don't know what Ashley is bringing to the show other than being a Debbie Downer, a jealous Julie, a negative Nellie, a hater Helen, however you want to say it, that is Ashley Darby. She is bitter, she is mean, she's in everybody's business, but not talking about what's going on with her and Michael in this alleged divorce. So I'm like, I don't know why Ashley is there. She's jealous of I can never pronounce Kiriana KK. I'm just going to call her KK, y'all. She's jealous of KK. That's why she tried to come at her for her scar and her skincare line because she's mad that G and A aren't making any sales. They're not making any profits, okay? So she's mad that this girl comes along about the same age, super cute, young, professional, making money, skincare line, med spa. Ashley is probably so jealous. She can taste it in her mouth. And also knowing that Ashley's friend, Cookie Monster, came in and hurt this girl to the point where she has a scar on her face and now is taking this girl to court for assault. And Ashley has the audacity to act like there's something wrong with KK because she's having a visceral response to Ashley, who brought the girl, who assaulted her, and making snarky comments about the scar on her face. And Ashley has the audacity to act like KK is overreacting. Ashley, why don't you underreact sometimes? Why don't you just chill out, sweetheart? Why don't you keep your comments to yourself? Because what are you bringing to the show this season? You can't even stir the pot in a way that is interesting or engaging. Like, I don't even want you to be messy. That's how boring and basic you are. What is Ashley bringing to the show? Quiet as it's kept, the best part about Ashley Darby was Michael Darby, because I know he has allegations. I'm not negating that, but he was entertaining as hell. Him and his boo thing, Juan, watching Michael Darby and Juan all day, every day, they should have their own TikTok. I mean, they are hilarious. The little bromance, little boo things, getting together, doing their dipping and doing it. I would watch the Michael Darby Juan show. Okay. He was entertaining as hell. you know, if he could just keep his hands to himself, he'd be fine. I want her to be more honest about what's going on in that divorce. Why is she so worried about money when she is divorcing a multimillionaire and has two of his young children? I mean, if nothing else, the child support should be, enough to never work if she played her cards right. But quiet as it's kept, seems like she didn't keep player cards right. I think Ashley did a gross miscalculation. I think she overplayed her hand. And I think that she is in some deep trouble when it comes to finances and this divorce from Michael. I think he has very powerful lawyers. I think he has a lot of money. I think he is very much over her and over the entire situation. And I just hope he doesn't abandon his two young kids in the process. Because if it was just Ashley and she was super worried about finances because he had some ironclad prenup, postnup, whatever, fine. But when you have two children of his, I don't get where that worry comes from. Because can't you like sue him? I don't know. There's just something, I don't know. There's something going on that's like weird, not mapping. I think Ashley probably should have taken a pause, really worked on whatever she needs to work on. She has a very dark energy. She's meddling in everybody's business, but isn't being honest about hers. And she just has a very downer energy this season. Similar to Giselle, but Giselle in a different way. Giselle's energy isn't like down or dark. Giselle's energy to me is more of like, I think she's really still in trauma and mourning with the loss of her father. That's the energy I get with Giselle. I think Giselle is phoning it in, not in a fake way, but in a like, I think she's still in shock and in trauma and kind of like going through the motions of life because her father passed away. So, not that she's being fake, not that she's being phony, not that there's anything dark about her this season. It's just a different energy when you lose a parent or someone you love so deeply and and abruptly, he got diagnosed with a tumor and then a couple like not too long after that he passed. Like to me that's abrupt. That's abrupt. And so I think that I don't think she has truly begun to process the trauma of losing her father. I don't think she's actually begun that process yet. And I don't mean that as like a slight to her. I just mean like as human beings on our healing journey, I think that sometimes it takes a long time to even be in a place to begin to heal. So that's what I think we're seeing with Giselle. I think she's going to be Karen's ride or die, which I think is good. But I think we're going to see a softer, kinder, more mindful, more open Giselle. One, I think she needs the Bravo check. Two, she doesn't have Robin. And three, I do think that on a genuine, authentic level, she's changing due to the loss of her father and maybe some other stuff going on in her life too. Life has a way of humbling you in a good way where you become grateful and kind, not meek and not proud of yourself, not that type of humility. So I think that's kind of what's going on with Giselle and them. Now, when it comes to KK, I I like her on the show, but but she definitely gives friend of energy. Stacy gives main character energy, full-time housewife. KK still gives friend of. I personally think, allegedly, my opinion, I think she only got the full time spot because Bravo and BC did not want her to sue them because of the physical altercation that happened at the G&A event. And I think that there was some deal probably negotiated where they brought her on as a full time housewife in order for her not to sue because like we said with these housewives with these fights throwing plates and dishes and glasses and trying to hit people, she got clocked in the head and now has a scar on her face. I'm pretty sure she could probably sue the production company because don't forget, even though cameras were down, mics were on, and don't forget they also aired that footage. So they can't say that they were not legally liable or it was not a part of their production when not only were they still not filming with the camera because the camera was down, but they still had audio. So they were still technically, getting footage, whether it's audio footage or video footage, they still got footage. And more importantly, they profited from that fight because they aired the footage on international television. So they can't say that they were not connected to this physical altercation. And we know that she's sue happy because she's suing Cookie Monster, which I think she should. If I'm standing there and somebody throws a bottle and knocks me in my head, I'm bleeding. I go to the emergency room. I get stitches on my face, and now I have a scar on my face. You're damn right I'm suing you for everything you have and everything your children will have and everything your grandchildren will even think of having. I'm suing you for all of it. Okay? So I think that's good for her to do that. But I also think she had a case against Bravo. And if I know networks, they do shady deals. I scratch your back, you scratch mine. And I'm pretty sure they said we'll give you full-time status, come and get in good with us don't sue us. We already have enough lawsuits. Because I don't think there's anything about KK that gives main character syndrome. I like her. I think she's beautiful. She's super smart. I think she needs some more self-esteem. She comes across very, even though she's very smart, she comes across very immature, very girlish. And she's in her late 30s, almost 40. And she comes across very immature, very girlish. Not that you can't have, and there's a difference between coming across immature versus being youthful. Like you can be youthful any age. That's a vibe. Being youthful. I pray to always be youthful. Being youthful is one thing, but coming across as like she gives a kinder version of Candace Dillard. You know what I mean? Like that's what she gives. She gives a very kinder, nicer version of Candace Dillard. Like, don't talk about my scar. Don't talk about my scar. You don't talk about it. Like, it's very, and so I think she could also use a little bit more self esteem because I think the guy that she's currently dating does not deserve her by any stretch of the imagination. He does not deserve her. She is beautiful, smart, cool, moneyed up, all this great stuff. And he, to me, seems like a dusty bum. I don't care if he has some like mental health facility, yada yada, Ponzi scheme, ML marketing scheme. I don't care what he's doing. His energy and his attitude stinks. He's nasty and he's mean, he's dismissive and he's rude, and I'm not into it. She deserves way better, but she's only going to get better when she realizes that she's the prize. That's the problem. She thinks he's the prize. That's why she keeps trying to earn him. Girl, get your life. Okay. Who else is there? I think that's everybody, you guys. I really do. Karen, I mean, this episode was kind of maybe it's, gearing up for the next episodes where it's like, does Karen need to go to rehab? What's going on? But I kind of feel right now like it's lackluster. Like what are the storylines? What's going on? Like, how many times can we hear about Karen's DUI? I will say about Messy Mia, she was on Watch What Happens Live. Turns out, Gordon has a girlfriend, and I am so happy for him. You guys know I'm Team Gordon. I love me some G. He has a girlfriend, and I think Mia is realizing that she may have made a mistake. Because when Andy was like, "Oh, and how are things going with Ink?" She was like, "Oh, they're good. Yeah, they're But you could tell that they're not good. Do you know what I mean? When you ask somebody how are things going? What's going on? And they're like, "Oh, everything's great." But like the energy is like things aren't good. I think things with her and Ink aren't as good as she's pretending that they are. Because again, I think he only showed up because that's where the money resided. He wanted fame and he wanted money. Hello. I don't know what's going on with them, but I don't think it's good if you just read her energy. And then again, with the whole Gordon having a girlfriend, moving on, no longer being obsessed with Mia, no longer stroking her ego, it is what it is. You know what I mean? So I think that there may be some regret there with Mia with how she treated Gordon now that he's moved on and everything isn't so great with Ink. So there's that. So it's kind of where I'll land with everybody. I think this season is a bit of a dud, to be honest. What do you guys think? Are you enjoying this season? Are you liking it? I sort of think it's lost its allure. Like the fact that Mia is like the centerpiece of the show, that to me, it's an ick. It's an ick. It's a no. I'm just totally not here for it. So I just want to know what you guys think about this. I do think that the season will be redeemed. I'm not sure how, but I just have a gut feeling. I think if they can get their stuff together, switch gears, talk about other things, start having fun, I think the season could be redeemed, but time will tell. So as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share, and let me know what you think down below. So with that, let's move on to